So over this past week, I've tried to think of a few things that I believe that I've needed this week. I've said, hey, I need to go to the mall, I need to buy new clothes, mine are out of date, when in all honesty, they're just fine. Or even two, I need a new car. I've had mine for a while, so I want something new. And I think at the same time, I even said, hey, I'm starving or I'm really thirsty when I have a fridge and a kitchen full of food and water. I think it's really easy for myself and so many of us to go day in and day out saying that this is something we need or we just can't go without this when actually those needs are met and we don't have to question any of it. Over the past few months, I've learned that 663 million people don't have access to clean water. Man, that's just a lot of people. And I know when I heard that stat for the first time, I just couldn't go without doing anything with it. It's pretty obvious that a number like that we are experiencing a water crisis in our world. Today, I want to tell you about the water crisis. I want you to walk away knowing what it is, knowing what causes it, but at the same time being encouraged, knowing that we have the opportunity to end the water crisis. I want to share with you some of the solutions that are available to me, you, and to our communities. So the Water Project defines the water crisis as either a lack of enough water quantity or a lack of access of safe water quality. When looking at 663 million people without water, that's 1 in 9 worldwide. And currently 1 in 15 people have a college degree. So when you think about that, there are more people that need clean water than there are that have college degrees. On top of that number, the number of people that don't have access to clean water, Living Water International has found that more than 840,000 people die from unclean water each year. The Wells Project also reports that women and children travel up to 7 miles per day to go find clean water to bring back to their families. The Water Project, which is a nonprofit organization, has a really interesting quote on their website that shows the effect of this. The quote is, "In places like sub-Saharan Africa, time lost gathering water and suffering from waterborne diseases is limiting people's true potential, especially women and girls. Education is lost to sickness, economic development is lost while people merely try to survive, but it doesn't have to be like this, it's endless suffering." Now that we know what the water crisis is, let's talk about some of the things that we can do, or some of the causes of the issue. The first thing that we can mention is the lack of financial support for economies and people groups across the world, specifically in various countries throughout Africa. War and economic downfall has ruined so many societies in Africa, taking away from towns and their ability to have access to clean wells that have been destroyed completely. And although we have technologies that can provide these clean wells to these communities, developing countries simply can't afford these technologies. Another cause of the water crisis is the lack of awareness itself. Before I joined the Wells Project at Texas A&M, I had no idea the impact the lack of clean water had on communities. It's so easy for individuals and for people to go or to give to organizations that help build these water wells. However, if we aren't aware of the crises we're going through, how can we expect to make a difference in it? So now let's talk about a few solutions, and this is where I get really excited because we have a real big opportunity to make a difference here. We as individuals and communities have the opportunity to end the water crisis. Obviously it won't happen today, it won't happen tomorrow, but we have the opportunity to end the water crisis within my generation. We have these technologies that are available to provide clean water and to see the crisis come to an end. The main solution lies in a lot of these nonprofits that I mentioned earlier. We have the opportunity to donate to these organizations, which in turn send individuals and groups to these countries to build clean water wells to help support the citizens. The Wells Project is a student group that exists at universities across the nation. Every year, the Wells Project puts on an event called the 10 Days. The 10 Days is essentially a 10-day period of time in which you give up every beverage, every drink except for water. So you eat and you go about your normal day, except the only thing you drink for those 10 days is water. And at the end of the 10 days, you give back the money that you would have spent on soda, on alcohol, on coffee, on anything else. You donate that money for them to build wells. And it's really exciting that this past year, from November 7th through 16th of 2016, universities across the nation raised almost $250,000, and they're able to build 12 clean water wells to save 2,000 people or provide clean water to 2,000 people.
Wow.
So today we were able to explain what the water crisis is, the problems that have caused the water crisis, as well as some of the solutions and the unique opportunity we have to help end this water crisis. I hope you walk away thinking about our neighbors around the world and that are suffering because of the lack of clean water. I hope that you'll partner with me and you will help donate and spread awareness about the water crisis so that in my lifetime and your lifetime, we can see everyone in the world provided the basic need of clean water. Thank you.